funny little fact about Bones during all that chaos that was going down. I was like putting my bass down, ready to jump in, I don't know, get whoever I could off my boys. It didn't matter. And then as soon as I do that, I start walking off the stage, and he got a little wild and picked up a microphone stand, and boom, microphone right to the eye. Like, it couldn't have been any more perfect.
He hit you in the eye with the mic stand?
Right in the eye. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going anywhere. I'm packing my shit. This show's over.
Hi everyone, welcome to 3 Gigs, the podcast that tells the stories of 3 shows that have had a profound effect on a performer's life and career. Their very first show, their best show, and their worst show. I'm your host Dominic Davy, and today my guests are the band The Sold and Bones.
We all feel the pressure, and we pay with blood. I said, whoa, I was right, you were wrong. 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 I was right, you were wrong.
The Sold and Bones is a thunderous clash of vocalist Billy Bones, the legendary frontman of The Skulls, and the band The Sold, founded by frontman Easy Lou Jones and bass player Charles LaFerraria. They were joined by drummer Justin McGrath in late 2015, and after just a few weeks of rehearsals, Full Circle Suicide was recorded, and originally, though intended as a demo, it became their debut album in 2016. Now they've been going at it ever since, and while I could tell you more, maybe it's best I just get out of the way and let the band introduce themselves.
We should introduce ourselves as we go.
The background.
All right, okay, cool. So I'm Easy Lou Jones. I play guitar and I sing. And why don't we do that?
Yeah, I'm Billy Bones, and I sing.
Charles, bass.
Justin, I play drums.
So the first show, it was at the Scotland Yard, and a little history with the question, The Sold and Bones. The Sold was another band with Charles, the bass player, and me, the guitarist, and we wanted to start it as a side project, so we brought in Justin playing drums and Bones from the Skulls and a few other projects, so that's why you have The Sold and Bones with him.
Right. Awesome.
First show was at a Sold, it was The Sold, we had a residency at the Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
Canoga Park represent, and
in the valley.
It's in the valley.
Dirty Valley.
They took care of us.
And 818.
And yeah, so it was The Sold show, and we did a segment with The Sold and Bones, and like I said, it was going to be a project at first, so that's why we did the show, just to feel it out, as I think all bands do. So that was kind of the first show, and it was great from what I remember.
Yeah, and I remember, well, it was the first show was trying to remember, well, also too, like I played open for you guys too in another band too.
That's how we met Justin. And The Sold had been playing with a ton of bands on our residency, and Charles, the bass player, was booking them, and he had booked a band called The Grit, and they were awesome. And Justin played drums with them, and through looking through drummers, his name had come up, and I remembered him, and we thought he was a cool cat, and he played well, and yada yada. So we asked him to join when we wanted to start this project with Billy Bones. So that's kind of how that came together, and how we knew each other from there.
Yeah. So that was our first show. Yeah, definitely in the valley. Nice little small stage.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And it went off. It was really nice, and we liked it, and we wanted to do it again and again and again. And so
I remember hoping that I remembered the songs, because we had only a couple weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, the whole thing, like the record, if you've heard it, like that was, we recorded that within a month of having started, was all very fast paced.
Really?
We had like a couple rehearsals.
Yeah.
And then they played the show with us at the Yard.
We did the same show twice in a row, the residency, because the first time there was nobody there, but the bands were so good and everybody had such a good time that we did the same.
Well, that's how we met him. That was that lineup. That was with the Soul and Bones, but that's how we met.
Yeah.
The first time we played that show is the Soul, Grit, and some other band. I feel bad not knowing.
I don't know their name.
But it was an excellent
Money.
show. One of the
Money.
They're called
Money. They're not Money anymore, but they were an insane band. If you're out there and you're listening, you guys are the shit. But it was the best show we'd ever played, literally. But like literally, no one was there either.
Yeah.
Did it again.
And it was the 3 bands you couldn't Google.
Yeah, the Soul,
Grit, the Soul, and Money. You just
you're never gonna find the band.
You'll never.
That is totally a modern problem right there. Like that's like something that was never a problem in the years like when just about all of us started playing, but that's actually a concern now. Like it's like, can you Google the band? No.
Yeah.
So it really just came together really fast. You guys obviously just knew that it just worked, and there was a lot of chemistry to just make it work and keep going. So that's pretty cool.
Chemistry. I've been in a lot of bands. I started in '77, and I got to tell you, these 3 guys, like my young brothers, man. I mean, we've done this now for 2 years. I don't think we've had one single argument or disagreement, if it's good or bad. But we're locked in really well together. You know, we all appreciate each other, we all respect each other, and we got Easy Lou Jones, who's an amazing writer, put these records together and these songs and brought them to us. And I've like I said, I've been in a lot of bands, but the chemistry of this band, I've never experienced anything like this. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. That's great. I mean, it's great when it happens. Like no diss on all the other guys. I've been really fortunate. I've worked with some great bands and great musicians. You know, both incarnations of the Skulls and the Billy Bones and stuff. But it's a little bit different. It's something that I hope a lot of bands get to experience, and I'm sure some do. But it's something special that we have. That's for sure. Yeah, there's some bands and some combinations of people that just come together, and it's just you guys, like you can read each other. You know where you know what's gonna happen. Like some bands have greatness that comes out of conflict. And some bands have greatness that just comes out of just knowing each other, and it just works, and you get each other, and it does happen both ways.
I can say that because I mean, we have this chemistry where not just being brothers, you know, and being friends, but like musically, we can write a song really quick. Like, I mean, Easy has all these songs in his vault that he writes, and he brings them to the table, and we can probably put a song together in our parts really quick, and even just jamming, like you already feel that chemistry and bond kind of when you're playing.
Right.
He also says, first night, it's okay. Do whatever you got to do first night. Come back the second night, you got to know the song.
That's true.
That's it. He's got a thing.
I think you've been exposed as the taskmaster of the band. Like everyone's trying to be real nice and be like, oh, he comes up with all these songs, they're great, and he's like, but you have to know what you're doing by the second night. He gets really mad. That's kidding.
It's a tight ship, that's for sure.
That's true, though. I mean, we're all, have tight schedules, right? You have a tight schedule, and
we're all got to be somebody.
Yeah, and you got to know your shit, and you can't waste time, in rehearsal. So you got to know your stuff. Yeah.
So that's awesome. So that's how it came together. What was a story of a really great moment, like one of your best shows that you guys really just absolutely loved to do? Like, what's a good story of that, like as a band?
I have 2 good shows. I mean, like the recent one at Maui was great. I thought
that was great because the encore.
You got an encore, which is really nice.
I
actually don't have an answer, but the one we're talking about was the show at the Sugar Mill, which we play often, and the Maui Sugar Mill takes care of us big time.
Where's the Sugar Mill? Just for everyone who's listening.
It's in Tarzana. It's an awesome venue. Yeah. Really, really cool bar.
It's the best place in the valley. If that's saying anything.
It is.
Yeah. All bands need to play the Maui Sugar Mill. Yeah. It's a great spot. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have people pop in. Yeah. Like Grohl will pop in, and like a bunch of, like, I don't know, a lot of people, Slash will pop in. A lot of people kind of live around that area, but the Maui Sugar Mill takes care of all the bands, not just people that pop in like that. But they really take care of the local scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had a show recently where who was on the bill? Ravensmoreland, right? And the Deadbeats.
Yeah, Mark Bruce from Wall of Voodoo has a band, Ravensmoreland, and then the Deadbeats, which but I played with both those guys in '77. So kind of like a '77 thing, and we opened, Soul and Bones opened, and we got an amazing. It was packed, and we had a great response, and people liked it, and it was a great night. It was great. It was great to do a show. I hadn't been on the stage with Bruce and Scott since '77 together, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And just a reaction. Really, the reason we're saying that we even brought it up is it was a great crowd. But there's always a good crowd there. But it was just a reaction. We got a great reaction. Like, if you're in a band and you get that type of sentiment from it, that's
Yeah, I mean, it could have been too. We had new songs. We haven't played new songs in what?
We're working on a new record, so we played new songs and got good reaction from that. So it might be more just in the heart, if anything, that made it such a good.
It's fantastic. Some clubs are, some clubs get it, I feel like, and some, it's like, no disrespect to the millions of clubs we've all played, but like, you definitely know when you got that one that like just gets it and like knows how to develop their scene and their crowd, and they can take care of bands, and they just get it. And it's weird because I stopped playing for a while and then started up again, and I kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, are all long-term players, all of you. So one of the things I it's like at least I noticed, I feel like lately there's been a little bit of, I feel like people kind of don't know how to put on shows quite the way they used to anymore. They kind of heavily rely on Facebook, and that's it. They don't use a lot of the old tricks that still work,
I definitely agree. That's
the line of least resistance, I think, is what it is.
Yeah,
I think everybody leans on it a bit.
No, I mean, there was some weird things that I found. Like, I mean, I want to see what you guys think of it, but like when we came back, we started playing shows, and my band, we had, at first we'd show up to this club out in Texas or on the East Coast, and like nobody would be there, and I'm sitting here going, oh man, maybe just nobody gives a shit. Like, I thought this is going to be pretty good. Maybe nobody cares about our band anymore. And then like all night, just a handful of people, and then right before we play, boom, sold out, packed. And I'm like, what the hell? And I found out like promoters nowadays, they just post the times so everyone knows. And I went up to one of them, I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, I mean, I don't mean to bag on you, but like, you don't make your money off the touring act. Like, you make your money off the developing these locals to be headliners when we can't be here. I was like, if nobody comes in to see any of them and you're posting times and everyone's just sitting it out, like, what are you doing? You're not developing your scene. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is like punk rock 101. I don't know what else to, I mean, if you don't know, nobody's showing up.
Why are you even doing it?
Yeah.
I think it's actually a lot of people, like, just like a lot of people try and make beats these days or whatever. I think things seem to be made easier, but it's not authentic. If it's not authentic, it's not going to be done right. No. So if you're promoting that way, it's just not going to develop. You're not watering the seed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the old school and promote and actually do the job. And it's the same thing with the bands. The bands should bring people, and the promoter should be promoting. I think sometimes promoters rely on bands, and I think sometimes bands rely on promoters.
I agree.
There's a fair mix. If everybody's in there, a lot of hard work can go in, and you get a good show, and everyone has a good time, and everyone gets, compensated for their efforts.
I mean, I'm not trying to bag on people listening that are promoters and stuff. Like, I've met a lot that do a really great job, but at the same time, it's like, I have to admit, as a guy who's been playing punk rock for almost 30 years, I gotta admit, I'm like, if I was 15, I'd probably not be all that into punk rock right now either. You're not making it really welcoming, and I don't know what's going on. Like, so it's like, I'm not exactly...
Just to play if you're fucking broke. Like, we were broke. We
no
were broke kids. We couldn't afford to play.
Like you were saying, there's no word of mouth either anymore. You have to be connected with some group in order to hear what you want to hear, instead of just hearing everything about it. I want to know everything about this genre of music, even punk or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Knowing all about it.
Yeah, I think there's a way to promote, and develop bands, but like, my best advice and observations of playing, once again, it's like, guys, like, you need to develop that band that opens the show is not just there to fill time. Like, you're ideally bringing them up, and it's always great to find promoters and clubs. Like, it sounds like Maui Sugar Mill is kind of that kind of place that knows their audience, develops it, gets a lot of great crowds in there. Okay, so if that's like one of the best shows, and it sounds like it's already obvious, if you guys had like great crowd, great bands, it's a great club that knows how to work it. All right, so here's the fun one. What was one of the worst shows you guys had to play? And you don't have to name names. You just figure out how you want to do it.
let's say this disclaimer: the venue, the owner of the place was awesome.
Mhm.
Like right?
We don't have to name
Santa.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Santa
actually,
Ana, right?
I actually don't. This is I don't know if when you listen to this later, I'll say it's not the show with the fighting, but like.
Oh, okay.
I don't actually think that's the worst show. Like I thought that was
our playing was
cool within its own right. So like it was a show, we played at a place, and people were being rowdy, which is totally cool. Like nothing about it wasn't cool, but like you know, I don't know, people were like kind of getting on stage, which happens, and that's totally cool. And they were bumping mics to people. So like you know, people were trying to like stop them from doing that. Like you know, they get on stage, you kind of pull them off a little. Everything was out of respect. That's the thing. Like I don't think anything was bad. Like people were trying to have a good time and people were trying to play, but it just got rowdy. And then people just started swinging and stuff. And you know, in the band's girlfriends are in the crowd, and that was kind of where it comes from. It was just like it got crazy quick. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. It was way more detailed than that. Right. But basically, that's what it was. And there was a lot of fighting, and our girlfriends were in the crowd. All of our girls were there in the crowd, wives and whatnot, and so we're taking off guitars and throwing the sticks, and we're getting out in the crowd to get our girls from the sea of just like you know fighting. So like I don't think that was a bad show. I just think it ended. Cops had
like 4 songs.
Like the owner had to pay the like. So the owner bought cops tacos to like make sure they just hung around.
They escorted us to our cars.
Yeah, like it was like this whole fucking thing. So, but I don't think it was a bad show. I actually thought it was a great show. When we were up there, it was fucking.
It was a great show.
Well, for the 4 songs, was it 4 songs you got to play for the set that you had? It was great.
Yeah, we didn't really get to throw down, but like we did our thing and. Half a set and it all went down. But
funny little fact about Bones during all that chaos that was going down. I was like putting my bass down, ready to jump in, I don't know, get whoever I could off my boys. It didn't matter. And then as soon as I do that, I start walking off the stage, and he got a little wild and picked up a microphone stand. And boom, microphone right to the eye. Like it couldn't have been any more perfect.
He hit you in the eye with the mic stand,
right in the eye. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going anywhere. I'm packing my shit up. This show's over.
That's one way to keep you out of the fight, I guess.
Yeah. I'm getting beat up by my own men here.
But I don't think that. I mean,
that's what he says. I don't know. Did you get hit by the? I don't know. That's what he says. I got hit. I got hit.
Yeah. Realistically, though, what would I don't know what a bad show is. I don't know that. At least that got you some story action.
Yeah,
but
I don't. It's whatever story. It's the chaos of. It's the fish you want to tell, man. It's the however sides. It's like whatever story you want to tell.
But it was a show that we feel could have gone a lot better because it was a good crowd, minus a few people that were the bad seeds that messed everything up and got everybody riled up.
Right.
That's cool. But that sucked, having to cut our set short. That was the bummer. We've never had to cut our set short.
I stopped playing and had to run in the crowd, and I could see it escalating. More and more. I had a good view.
I can't even think of a bad show. That's another thing too. You know, when you have a bad show, you want to the next show. You want to make sure you go get it. Right. You know, because you didn't feel. Yeah, I'm honestly in all the shows we've done, I've never had that feeling that hey, you know, we got to really step it up next show. They've all been really, really good. You know, again, man, it's really good fun. You know, I mean, these guys are 30 years younger than me, pretty much. You know, but I'm having the time of my life. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Good fun band.
Yeah.
Well, we have a little bit of time left, so do you guys have any story that you want to throw in from your own experiences? Like something that stands out, whether it's best or worst? Because, like I said, I know you got like another 10 minutes, but if you guys got another story.
One time I played this really, really dope show. It was actually the first show I ever played, so if you want to do a personal one here. Yeah. First show I ever played was with U.S. Bombs at the Roxy. And we opened up for them. We played like way earlier than they did.
Crazy cool, good for like first show.
Yeah. But okay, so fucking
what was the name of it?
U.S. Bombs. Dwayne Peters. I was there during sound check because we had our own sound check too. So he's like dancing around, being all crazy and fucking being fucking Dwayne Peters, and then he did a flip. This is during sound check. Did a flip. And like kicked me in the face because I was standing right there. I wanted to see warm up, dude. Kicked me right in the face, so I'm like bleeding. And then I finally like recuperate, and then we're walking around on Sunset, blah 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 blah. So then we're playing, and somebody was eating a banana and threw it on stage, and like a cartoon, I slipped on the fucking banana peel and fell on my ass.
All right.
Wow.
I got first, worst, and
all in one. Billy's got.
All right, first show I ever did. The first show I ever did with the Skulls was down in 1977, 76, right in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. We rehearsed down at the Mask because Brendan was kind of our pseudo manager, so we would rehearse with backstage pass and the motels and the controllers, and we all were down in the Mask there. Well, the first show we had, Brendan had set it up down at the Mask, and he said, "You guys are playing." And I remember not having any logo on the drum and saying to Mick, "What are we going to do? No one's going to know who we are." And I ran upstairs to the supply sergeant. He sprays the Skulls, and we get up there and we start to play and everything. And before you know it, they pull Mark pants off. 3 songs into it, they pull Mark Moreland's pants off. The guitar snaps in half, and I think we might have got through 3 songs, maybe. And we shuffled back because our rehearsal spot was right there. We just kind of shuffled back in there and let the next band come on. So that was probably the first show that I remember, as far as with the Skulls starting out here. Now the worst show. I was thinking about this.
So it's not the worst show.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we're going.
It's not the worst show.
It takes more than losing your pants to make a bad show, guys. Come on.
Yeah. That was no. Let me think. The worst show. I had.
While he's thinking, I got a 20-second one. Before the Sold, we were called the Government Trap. And when we were playing the Government Trap show at the Whiskey, we were playing a show with HR of Bad Brains, and we were so fucking stoked because fuck you, it's Bad Brains.
Right.
And he never showed up. So that was my story. We waited there as long as we could. He never showed up. Yeah. And I still love Bad Brains. I love you, HR, but you never showed up. And I was so excited.
I think he started like around 1 a.m. that night.
Yeah, we waited as long as we could. We bounced at like midnight or something like that. I did hear maybe he showed. I don't know.
He was on a flight from D.C.
Something like that. Anyway.
To play the show.
Maybe not the worst show, Dominic, but one of the most scariest moments for me. We were doing the Elks Lodge benefit, the thing they did with all the punk bands. Everybody did it. The Germs, the Bags. There's a huge poster with all the names. Anyway, we did both nights because Brendan was our manager, so he kind of put us in both nights. But the second night, it got really, really crazy. That's when they had the riots. And anyway, people were throwing stuff on stage, and the stage was just covered with water and beer and everything. And I dropped the mic. And I went to go grab it, and I swear, man, I thought I was done. I grabbed it, and it knocked me so far back into the drum kit, it just knocked the whole drum kit over from the shock and everything.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, and that was pretty much the end of that evening for me. That I was really, really in bad shape. It scared the fuck out of me. But that was at the Elks Lodge benefit.
That's scary, dude. That's the worst. Getting shocked from the mics and some of the venues, like especially like really punk rock venues, getting like. I remember where it'd be hot and it would get kind of wet and damp and like, and then everyone's spilling beer and water and soda and everything all over. Same thing. I've been shocked the shit out of me.
And on top of that, I had a After Six white jacket on, and somebody earlier in the crowd I'd leaned over and they had a beer can and they just decided to just like slam it up into my mouth. So I was bleeding from the first song until that was, that was a rough night. I'll say that. But it was a fun night. I'll say that.
Fun night.
I don't know.
Worst show. Give us something, Jack.
Any worst show is when my equipment doesn't work. So if my kick pedal breaks, like I don't know, first song or whatever.
What about the guy that borrowed your equipment and tossed it?
I didn't even see it. Well, we played and rocked it, so I didn't even care. I was pissed. Don't let anyone.
He did the backline drums for a band. It was like this whole benefit show. Everything was cool.
Yeah.
And like one of the bands just was like, "Fuck this," and just like
first
kids.
Yeah, there's like what?
They're cool cats, which sucks. We know the guys. They're cool,
bands,
but like, what the fuck?
16 bands in the first band.
See, yeah, it was like 16 bands on the bill.
And the first band
throws the kid.
Last time I'm okay backlining.
That's so funny.
I don't think I'm gonna.
It's rough.
I'll pause if I'm backlining.
And he was so cool
15
about
it.
I think I would lose my shit if I loaned my bass to somebody and I watched them toss it. I'd be like,
yeah, he was cool about it.
Like, I know, right?
Jay's a gentleman.
I don't know.
I think I'd watch it go flying and come up and going, "Hey man, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to beat your ass now. I'm really sorry." But
third song, with that third song, was the greatest. But dude, we got to step
Yeah.
Were you just like watching it fly off, and you're like,
"That was rough."
Dude, were you just like standing there, like watching them, and then watch them toss it? And you're like, wait, that was mine. What the?
So it was. Yeah. No, here's the thing.
That's really, really fun. Trying to jump.
Well, like a football, just like.
Like, what just happened?
No, but like, I didn't even see it. I was told that it happened, so I didn't even see it. If I had seen it, it would have been. I think it would have been way worse.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fair.
I didn't even know until like at least
that's
a couple
really, really
hours
funny.
later.
He came up to me and he was like, Charlie, dude, I think that somebody threw my drums.
Wait, is that your impression of me?
Yeah.
That's your impression of me. Okay.
Did you go like, I don't know, man? Did I
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah, I was like, okay, well, who's the motherfucker? You want me to go talk to him?
Yeah, because I was outside when it happened and I didn't even see it. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Justin,
Find out who this is.
I picture you standing outside talking, going, yeah, man, I'm having a... I feel like something just happened. I feel a disturbance in the force.
What was that?
I know.
Did anybody feel that? It felt like a bunch of drums crying out all at once. What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
I heard. What is it? Crash or China? Those are...
The drum heard around the world.
You've been listening to The Souled and Bones. And if you'd like to find out more about The Souled and Bones, check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/The Souled and Bones. They always have something in the works, so it's definitely worth checking out. Thank you so much for tuning in to 3 Gigs. Feel free to check out our website at 3gigspodcast.com. That's the number 3, gigspodcast.com. You can find extras and live footage of all of our guests, including The Souled and Bones. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram just by searching 3 Gigs Podcast, and you can let us know what you think of the show and who you'd like to see as a guest in the future. I'm listening. Now, if you're enjoying the show and you use Apple or iTunes or have an iPhone, please take a moment to review and rate the show on the 3 Gigs Podcast page over on iTunes. That's a huge help in getting the word out and making sure that we reach as many people as possible, and it does help. So thank you in advance. Our theme music today has been I'm Right, You're Wrong by The Souled and Bones off their debut album Full Circle Suicide. You can actually find it for sale at their Bandcamp at the souledandbones.bandcamp.com. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Dominic Davy, and this has been 3 Gigs Podcast. And we will see you next time.
I was right.